Hey guys, wanted to make a quick video. I got a new Smith Wesson auto knife. It's the 1600 BT model, which is a tanto blade, non-serrated. And I wanted to talk about things I like, things I don't like about this blade. There don't really seem to be a whole lot of reviews out there, and the few that I've seen don't really go in depth into what I believe are some areas of the knife that could be improved. I'll talk about the good things first, because there definitely are some good things about this product which I do like, which attracted me to it in the first place. First and foremost, the look. It looks like a really sharp blade, no pun intended. Truth is, it was not actually very sharp from the factory. I've had a better factory edge on Kershaw's and Benchmade's, which I purchased, but you know, an edge is an edge. You can put an edge on a blade, you can maintain an edge. That's not really a big deal. But the knife does have a nice look to it. I like the fact that it's S30V steel. That's quality steel. It's made in the USA, right? And by a USA company. I like that a lot. I like giving my money to USA companies. And I also very much like the clip. I think the clip design is great. It really allows for deep concealment in anything that you wear, for the most part. Some of my Benchmades and certainly my zero tolerance, you can see a large portion of the hilt, the scale of the knife, sticking out. And this guy just really disappears into the pocket. So the clip is just awesome. I was really sad though when I got home and I noticed that I'm actually missing a screw in the clip. But a phone call to Smith Wesson customer service will take care of that. Things happen, right? Got a lanyard loop here on the end, which is also kind of neat. Aluminum scales, which are very attractive, but unfortunately with sweaty hands makes for a slippery grip. One area that I think could definitely be improved on this blade would be the addition of jimping right here along the spine. That way, even if my hands are sweaty, these aluminum scales get a little slippery in my hands. If I have jimping right here, I can really get a nice, good, solid purchase on the blade. So that would definitely be one thing that I would urge Smith & Wesson to consider adding to the next generation of these blades. And I really hope that there are second and maybe even third generations of these blades, because I think that this knife has a lot of potential. But my chief areas of concern with this blade actually have to do with the safety mechanism and the trigger, the button for deployment. And I'll tell you what those are right now. I think that the safety is too soft. It's very easy to move. Maybe that's a good thing. Smith & Wesson wants to make it easy for us to disengage the safety, but in my opinion, the safety design is counterintuitive. You disengage the safety by pulling toward your person, and you engage it by pushing toward the button. I think that that should be reversed, not only from an intuitive standpoint, but actually in terms of function. Several times now, inserting this knife into my jeans, because as the knife is going down into my pocket, there's friction moving up against the knife. Several times that soft safety has been disengaged to the point where I pull it out of my pocket, and it does pretty well in these shorts pocket, but denim is a much coarser material than this soft cotton cargo shorts that I'm wearing right now. And several times I've seen that safety disengage. I can just rub it against my person and it'll move, if it encounters something with a lot of resistance. Now, the one saving grace maybe to that is that this button actually requires you to be pretty deliberate when you want to deploy the blade by, pushing down with some force. But therein lies another problem, in that this button is not consistent in the way that it deploys the blade. Sometimes it sticks and it's gritty. I'll try and demonstrate here. So there's one little click. Now it comes out. The blade fires out with such force that there's actually a little bit of kind of wobble to it at the end. And what I've noticed is sometimes the button will stick and the blade, see it stick right there. God, see, I had to push that hard to get it out that time, and you can see that the button actually kind of stuck after the blade finished deploying, and so the blade did not lock. Right? There it happened again. you really kind of have to fire it, from it to lock again because the button's sticking. So you really kind of have to hold it, horizontal like this, fire it out, and kind of let go of that button and let it kind of retract so that it will, in fact, lock the blade. It's not consistent, and I don't like that. The button is also not smooth to depress when you're trying to deploy the blade. See, it kind of stuck there a little bit, and I don't think that it locked. No, it didn't. So it kind of sticks a little bit when you are, when you're trying to deploy the blade sometime, and I don't like that. I don't like that it's not consistent. I don't know if this is a failure of design or manufacturing, what's going on inside here, but I think it's certainly an area that Smith & Wesson could target for improvement. In my opinion, the safety again is backwards. I think it would be much better if you were, when you pulled toward the body, you were actually engaging the safety. That way, if the knife encountered any friction on the way into your pocket, that friction would be moving upwards and it would have no effect on the safety. The safety would stay engaged the way you want it to. I think it's a lot more intuitive to disengage the safety by pushing toward the button, because then your thumb is in an optimal position to go ahead and engage that button. If you ever had to use this knife in a defensive situation, your fine motor skills, you would probably appreciate, moving in one direction, a fluid motion in one direction to deploy the blade, as opposed to having to pull back and then change directions and come forward again. So this is probably, my biggest complaint right here, and sadly, this is the heart of the knife right here, is the auto mechanism. So the blade, again, fires out really quickly, and if you don't let go of the button, quickly enough, the blade won't lock open, and I don't like that. I'm carrying this knife right now mostly for utility purposes. I don't feel confident in carrying this blade for defensive purposes at all right now, which is very sad because, again, I like the look of it. It's made with some quality steel, but there is certainly something in the design or the manufacture of this mechanism here, safety and deployment mechanism, that leaves me kind of, raising my eyebrow a little bit. So Smith & Wesson, if you're listening, maybe take a look at that and see about fixing that for the next generation of M&P auto knives that you are going to release. It's a great looking knife, and when it works, it's I like it. I want to like it more, and I think the only reason I like it as much as I do right now is because of brand loyalty. But hopefully there will be improvements made to this design in the future, and I hope this video has been informative for those of you who are thinking of getting one of these knives. I don't know if the issues I'm experiencing with this blade are limited to just this knife, or if this is something that's happening across the board with these knives. I'll be calling Smith & Wesson customer service, describing the issue to them, and maybe hopefully sending this knife in for service, unless this is just the way that it is, and in which case, I'll probably hold out until the next generation of knives before I seriously consider carrying this knife for defensive purposes. All right, stay safe out there, guys.